Hello friends, this is Bilal Heather, and today we are actually going to learn about another JavaScript array method. Basically, let's say you have an array like this. I have an array of numbers here basically, and what I want to do is I want to calculate the sum of all these numbers. So how can I do that? One solution you can think about is using a for off loop and creating a sum variable outside the for loop, and then every time an iteration goes on, you do sum equals sum plus the current item. So that is one way to do that, but we are going to learn a method that can be very useful in doing something where you have a bunch of values in an array and you want to result one value. Okay, that is a place where you would want to use the reduce method. Okay, so I will start by creating a value variable here, because I know that this method is going to return one value, which is going to be the sum of all these numbers. So I can call numbers.reduce. So this is the method that we are learning today. It's called reduce method, and it's going to reduce all of these numbers into one value. In our case, it's going to be the sum of all these numbers, but we can perform any arithmetic that we can think of. Okay, so this method actually accepts a function, and this function is has two parameters. Okay, um, the first the second parameter actually is going to be every item. On each iteration, it's going to be an item of this array. Okay, the first time when this loop starts working, right, or this method starts working, what it's going to do basically, it's going to put the first value in total and the second value in item, and from that point forward, on each iteration, the item is going to be the next element of the array. So the first time when this iteration starts, the total will be the first value and the item will be the second value. Okay, and from that point forward, every time this loop executes, it's going to put the next element into item. Then after the next iteration, it's going to put 45 in item, then it's going to put 23 in item, and what it's going to put in total, the total, it's going to put whatever we will return from this function. So let's actually go ahead and return maybe 1. Okay, so I just want to show you how it works so that we can see what it has basically. So if I do this, right, I'm just showing you, this is just to show you that what's going to be in total and in item on each iteration. Let's not return anything here, and let's see what it's going to have. So if I run node index.js, console.log. Okay, so if I clear my screen and if I run node index.js, you'll see the first time the total was 3 and item was 4 on first iteration. On second iteration, total was undefined. I'll see why it's undefined, and item was 6, right? On the next iteration, item is 45. Next iteration, item is 23. Next iteration, item is 34. So the first time total was 3, but after that total was undefined. Why it was undefined? It was undefined because this method, reduce method, actually expects you that whatever function you will pass to it, it should return a value, and that's what it's going to put inside of total on every iteration after the first one. Okay, so if I now return 1, I'm just returning a number just to show you. So now you see that on first iteration the total was 3, item was 4. On second iteration total was 1. On third iteration item was 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. So what this reduce method is actually doing, this function is whatever you will return from here, that value it's going to put inside of this total variable. Okay, so this property or this functionality of this reduce method helps us to calculate the sum. So what we can do, we know that it's going to put whatever we will return from here. So what we can do, we basically do total plus item. So what is going to happen is that the first time this executes, the total will be 3, item will be 4, and 3 plus 4 is 7. Now we are returning 7, so it's going to put 7 in total, and item will now be 6. So now it's going to calculate 7 plus 6, and sum will get stored in total, so and so and so. So as soon as it completes all the iterations, what it's going to do is that whatever you have in total at the end of this at the end of the iterations, right, it's going to return that total. So this whole method is going to return the total at the end of the iterations, and the total value is going to be stored in this value variable, which we can then console log, right? So if I do console log value and I run my code, you will see that it's telling us that the sum of all these numbers is 115. Okay, so that's how the reduce method works basically. So we are not limited to only perform sums in here. We can maybe do minus, right? We can maybe do multiply, right? Or yeah, so that's how the reduce method works. So now you know how it works. You can maybe think about any other use cases for this reduce method that you might have in your mind. Okay, one more example I'll show you in this video, and then I will leave the, maybe if I had enough time to explain one more, then I will do it in this one video, or otherwise maybe, let's see. So I have an array of characters in here, right? And what I want to do basically is, this is a dumb example, but I just wanted to show you that you can also do this with reduce method. So I have an array, and inside that array I have characters. Okay, this is a string character, right? So all of these characters I have in an array. Okay, what I can do is, I know that when I do plus operator with strings, it basically puts them together. Okay, so if I do b plus I, the result is going to be bi, one word. Okay, so that's what the plus symbol does. So I can basically use the same reduce method in here. The first time result will be b and item will be I. Then the next time it's going to do b plus I is now one word, bi, and it's going to put that bi in result, right? And the next time it's going to put bila in result, then it's going to put bilal in the result, because each time the item it's going to be the next element of the array, and result is going to be whatever is returned from this array. So by the end of this iteration, what I'll get is, I'll get one word, and that's going to be Bilal. So this is the second use case which you might just to make it a little more clear on how this method works. I think I have 4 minutes, so I will quickly go and explain this last example which I have prepared for you. So let's say I have an array with JSON objects. Let's say I have a bank and the bank allows me to create multiple accounts and put some balance in those accounts. So I have one account, I call it current, and it has balance of 20. I have savings, it has a balance of 120, so and so, right? So what I want to do basically is I want to calculate sum of all my balances, and I want to see how much total funds I have in all my accounts. So how can I do that using reduce method? So I know that reduce is going to put the first element in my total and second element in my account variable here. Okay, so in my example here, the first value of this JSON object doesn't matter. Okay, what matters is what result I want is I want the sum of all the balances. So what I can do basically, I can construct a JSON object in here, and I know the first time total is going to be the first item of the array, and first item has a balance of 20. So what I can do is I can construct a new JSON object in here, and I can say account sum, that doesn't matter, but balance I want to do on each iteration. What I want to do, I want to do total plus balance and sum it with account.balance. So account here is every single item in the array. On each iteration the account variable is going to change. So on each iteration what it's going to do, it's going to calculate the balance and assign it to this balance key here in this JSON object, and it's going to return this JSON object to the total. Okay, the second iteration the total will be this object with the balance correctly calculated. The third time it's going to be this account will remain the same, and this balance is going to update on each iteration. So by the end of this this loop, I will have a JSON object, right, and it will have the sum of all my accounts. So if I run my code here, not index node json.js, so you can see that I have correctly calculated the sum in here, sum of all the balances of my accounts. So if you're wondering where these files are coming from, I have actually created two more files in my directory, one called second.js and one called json.js, and I created my code in those files basically. So that's how we can use the reduce method. Once you learn it, once you learn how it works, then you can think about any use case that you can use it with. Okay, so I hope it's going to help you a lot, and my time is running out, and I guess I will end this video now, and I will come back with more videos soon.